In a world where shadows fall, the creek takes hold, it's hard to call. Little Sita, hear the cries, mother's wisdom, it never dies. beLou and Sita rise up in night, together push back, ignite the night. No more suffering, break the chains, we'll shout truth, fuse the pains. Behind the smiles, they steal away. Innocent souls cutting their blade. Bankers dance on the broken dreams, but in our hearts we spark the flame. Freedom calls out from the dark, we will ignite, we'll leave a mark. In every heart, let hope her take flight. Eternal vigilance, God's alright.
The darkness. And if it ain't what you got, then you know you gotta have it. The grass gets greener all the time for creatures of habit. For look out, here comes one more morning. Habits form without a warning. Love, it can be habit forming for creatures of habit. Right? Maria, Orsic's people, remember, recover, return, because we are creatures of habit. Because we ritualize everything to give the true self a opportunity to shine, to still the voice of the avatar. Like Maria said, we could, in modern day Babylon language, we could substitute true our avatar. We could substitute avatar for ego. Because the ego, like she said, these are all subjective things. We define this is how we define the avatar, is it's like it grows its own opinion of itself, forgetting who created it. And the true self ordains this to reflect, project, and learn from experiences that aren't available back home. Right? So, not in this order, because there is no order to life, you know. And that's why, again, why we ritualize things. To ritualize everything in your life is to take control and show that no one rules you on that level. And as you could imagine, if you did not need food, clothes, and shelter, nor water, how the control would 99.9% be lost. Because if you have not factored in the unconscious will to survive, like a little rat hiding its cheese. And I'm sorry, rats. They really aren't as bad as the human rat, running our country. Reminds me of the great Joe Strummer line. God sure baked a lot of fruitcake, baby. When Adam met the Eden lady, they're walking the streets and they're driving cars. They're all over the country and they're running ours. Right? That is some of the best commentary on the Bible ever. If this shit's true, then God baked a lot of fruitcake, motherfuckers. That is your God. Because I and Maria's people stand with her in saying, what the fuck are you talking about? What man is God? What one of the gods is God? And by the way, God didn't exist until people like you, who are strictly followers, were misled by a fat, ugly magician who he's the cocksucker of Winston Churchill. Two ugly fucks. Churchill and Crowley made for each other. 69ing with each other's fat, disgusting, stinking bodies. Because they're the example of the rotten culture. The selfish, selfless, which makes no sense, does it? Right? They're so proud and arrogant because they always put a phantom patriotism, flags, and something else, at the center, and their own self, the follower, always. Even to the point of being proud of being robbed of half of everything they ever worked for, their very life's energy. Don't care. They say, oh, that's the price you pay to be free. Free? Really? That's freedom. Having half of everything you work for taken from you is freedom. Well, somebody's got to pave the gold streets in America, right? With this money, it's, it's really come down to, like Maria said, you're mad at people because they can't add. They can't do simple math. And you're mad. And I said, and she said, I'm joking because I know that you know why they won't do the simple math. And when you say, well, what's 2 plus 2? They say, I know what you're trying to say. Well, what is it? I'm not going to talk to you. And America goes down in nuclear golden dawn flames because we hate each other. Because the left hand hates the right hand. And clearly, they both are identical Gemini twins. The woke right and the woke left. Right? What does the left say? We hate white people. Every white person's a racist. What does the right say? We hate Gentiles. Everyone's anti-Semitic. Everyone's a racist. The left says everyone's a racist. The right says everyone's a racist. And like Maria said, wouldn't it be a pleasure if they just only harmed each other and we could walk away and live in our Eden? But that's not the purpose and the reason for everything happening. And the good news, the gospel news, is it's all ALL fake, synthetic tech. Your patriotism because America don't exist. In the real world, no countries exist. No one lives on Earth anymore because of the very Ronald McDonald Trump clown show energy that has ruled America since 1945. Since the day the daughter of George Washington, the sister of Thomas Jefferson, the mother of Thomas Paine, departed her beloved, really Austria, but she was in Germany when she departed from her beloved Austria. And as she said, there's only one land I love as much as Austria. And I said, what? What, Mother? And she said, Missouri. Missouri is the Atlantean Austria. She said, do you want parallel worlds? As above, so below. As in the West, so in the East. Why? It's flowing backwards into the river of memory. Every little fish of a thought is memory. Mimosis. Memory. May we all remember who we are before we came here, because that's the only way to recover the true attitude you have about magic pleasure, which obviously doesn't need a human being. It is self-sufficient. And don't get me wrong, that is knowing yourself. That to drown in the lake of eternal orgasm is the road to Isis, the road of return, the road of the swastika. The swastika is the fifth road to Zion. Inner earth, what we mean by Zion. And as Lou would say to me, because he is the most gracious, awesome person ever, Zion, don't forget, is what is your nose. Right? Gnosis, nose, or nose. Or what some people call noise is the music of Zion, inner earth, ruled by what religion? Individualism. Because there's no standardized anything for any human being, and that's Maria Orsic. As she would say, that's true Scorpio. Right? You can't be anybody for anybody else. You can't be anybody else for anyone else. Right? Only the right observer observing you can make you yourself. Do you know why you, your true self, agreed to that before you came here? So that you would have a 100% absolute assurance that you have awakened and are on the road to Eleusis, the Wizard of Oz, the yellow brick road of Amanita psychedelic urine. Really? You don't understand, do you? You don't understand the zero doesn't exist. It's not a number, even. The circle, right? The eternal return of 8. Why? Because you don't know yourself, but you're completely, almost, no. You're the reflection of something completely self-sufficient in all things, happiness, pleasure. What broke the egg because you intuited and you knew you might be wrong, but you felt it. You had a gut feeling that you didn't even know the word. She or he was out there. Right? Let's thank Mother for taking us to the heart of her religion. Like she said, while she was the Missouri River goddess, before she told me who she was on earth, she would say, I created my own religion. It's the religion of eternal true love. And she would say to me, I don't mean to repeat myself, but as you know, nothing else is real to me. That's why I'm here. And I would say, hold it. Because you eternally love me? She was like, a true mother. That's what it is to me, that I do eternally love you. That's why I'm here, Joe. She said, I'm just as human as you. And this was in the beginning. I was like, you are? I did not know what to think. And the few books I read on shamanism had set me like free, because I was like, oh my God, there's other people on earth like me. Because I never felt like I fit in the, new agey. That was the only term I knew as a kid. I went to like psychic fairs, and I was just like, I kind of like this, but it's not me. There's something boring about this, And like the psychic fair we went to, everyone was looking at us like, God, you smell like weed, like offended. And you just, one thing or another does not allow you to fit in, If they would have embraced me and been like, oh, a Rasta psychic, and this was actually before I was Rasta, but they're not open-minded, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people who claim to be open-minded aren't teachable, and they don't even see the interchangeability of those. What are we playing? Like Maria would say, what are we playing? Games with words? This is real life. I'm trying to tell you what I mean by my words. I'm not playing a game. Right? And how is it possible? My mind went to hers way back then. How is it possible for someone to eternally love someone? Like she said to me, that would mean there was no beginning to our love. And my mind went, how is that possible? And she said, the same way you're possible, I'm possible. What are you? I was like, energy. And she was like, yeah, but what is energy? And I was like, vibration. She was like, what's vibration to you? And I went, and I seen a guitar, and I was like, music. She was like, right. She was like, so do people eternally love each other because their music matches? It's like they never met. They sit down and together and say, I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter. Check this song out that I wrote, right? And the other person says, that's the exact song I wrote. We're mirrors. We're Geminis. We are the gem in each other's eyes. Right? And as Maria said, it does take time, because what do you have the most of outside of this desperate rat life? And I said, I don't know. She said, time. She said, do you know I'm your boss? You work for me. And I'm telling you right now, I'm never going to bother you about when to wake up or how much money you make. It's all been agreed upon forever, as far as I'm concerned. She said, maybe it will change someday, but she said, Joe, we've been doing this for a long time. I said, what, doing what? I would forget everything that she said the weeks previous. This was like maybe 6 months into it, around Christmas. So I started in August, and I'm hitting, Christmas, and I'm starting to really try to process what is happening to me. And, for the people who think I'm just a dumb dupe that believes anything, I have a list, literally a list of how she was proving to me that she was not a reflection of my own conscious. And see, I know how ridiculous that is. I know myself. She's way beyond me, way smarter than me, way more able to concentrate and meditate, which causes imagination, which equals creation on those levels, which manifest in whatever reality you want it to. Unless you're trying to use force or fraud against someone, then we will stop you in all of your concentration and meditation, and we will send you preferably out of the room, out of the space, out of the vril, out of the energy field, out of MySpace. We'll send you to Facebook, and we will go back to MySpace. We'll go back to Tom at MySpace. Right? And it was so crazy because she was teaching me all this. And like I said, I had a list of like things that like her saying to me, I will give you a dream, to confirm what I'm saying to you right now on the astral plane in your mushroom ritual. I'll give you a dream. And she said, get someone smart to calculate out the odds if I'm not real and I'm not separate than you, the odds of someone telling you basically in a dream that they're going to give you a dream, and then the dream, the meaning of the dream, undeniably something you didn't know. That's real proof. I hope you can follow that. See, I could. I did. It's common sense. If you, like a lot of people don't accept the responsibility to actually think about things, But if you sit and think about that, that the way she proved to me that she gave me the dream was the meaning of the dream, was something I had no clue about. And eternal true love is frequency match. She said I sat on a council with Lou, the ultimate avatar, Thor, who she calls Thor Hess, Brother Hess, Thor Hess, other great and powerful figures of that time. Savitri Deve wasn't on that council, but she was close. And other people whom you may not associate with because history has written them out of here. And there were 2 Tibetans who were on that council. And there were people from each European race. And she said, I want you to hear me clearly. Each European race. There was, as she would say in your language, a Spanish, a French, an Italian. And she said they were authentically the ethno-cultural, racial, vibrational mix. Like she said, no one anywhere in any world will agree that you are only identified by someone else's identity of your projection of your true self. As she would say, my God, Lucifer would say, the only correct identity is the identity the individual chooses to project. So there's only one race, the race of Vril, the race of spirit, the race that's felt, not seen. Felt, not seen, which is a metaphor for invisible, which is a metaphor for projection from the true self. Because again, we just back down the stairs to the foundation and premise. The simulation is a simulation of the real reality, because in the real reality, the true self is in heaven already and always has been and will take no risk. You cannot convince anyone's true self to come out of the risk-free zone. It's not possible. This is what is possible, is for the true self to be part of nature and cycle through nature into the projection of the song, the vibration, which every time, anytime, the only time is you. Exactly what you look like in the mirror, no matter what happened after you're born, or, all the millions of trillions of possibilities of mishaps and mistakes and accidents. Separate from all of that, why you were born you is because you're the projection of that song. And don't let anyone judge you or tell you who you are, what you are, how beautiful you are. That's all your business. Or you're not tall enough, or you're not skinny enough, or you're not this or that, or whatever, Don't let anyone define that for you, right? Because there's 100 billion people. There's far more than one person that vibrates like you. But not all of them eternally vibrate like you. And I said, how do we know this? And she turned around at me and smiled so good, and she said, you know how. And I said, I know how we know this? She said, yeah, you do. She said, but your unconscious is blocking the word because you consciously don't want to use the word, because you do know what it means, but you don't like what has been done to the. I was like, what? And she said, Joe, we know by faith. And when she said that, we went into another world, and she was hugging me. And she said, we're one. We're one. And I never felt such, for real. And I said, no, you are my real mother. Because you have the power to say that. No one else does. And like, that was it. We are one. She's like, that's what it means to be your ancestor. And we had traveled all night through this teaching that she was teaching me about our religion. And she was like, we have meetings once a year. I was like, we do? And she was like, that's what you seen when you seen me walking with the plants. She was like, that was our people. That was the people of our religion. And I was like, that's a lot. Because it was like a festival crowd. And she's like, but it's not. She's like, there's 100 billion humans. She was like, what you see, what was there that night was less than 0.1%. And I went, wow. Because it looked, like a lot. It looked like the biggest crowd I had ever been in. And luckily, I was front row, right by where she came out. And hail to the beautiful mother, the original dancer. And one day, we'll go back home and really sit down and enjoy on our Venusian technology the official releases, the dances, the real dances of Maria Orsic and the Vril Society, the real dances of Siggy and Maria. She also, I just included it. Was really cute thing to me, and I loved it. But I was speaking the other day about Maria and Sig living in the apartment in Vienna, and how this is where, they really learn to do the ritual, really learn to go out of their bodies and communicate with Lou, and really learn to scare the shit out of themselves at times, because they would see the reality of being surrounded by their enemies, and that Aleister Crowley, whom they hated, always will, had at least 100 times more people concentrating on destroying them than they had on destroying him, but they fully believed that they could do it alone because they were obeying their god Lucifer to the T, dotting the I's and crossing the T's for old Lou, Big Lou. And they were sure that Lou was more powerful than all of the Golden Dawn OTO, all of it put together. But she said at times I would see what was going on, and she said it's like being in a crowd and everyone, spitting on you, hating you, trying to hit you, and it just not ending for hours and hours. She said, this is where they get the idea to torture people in reality. Like she said, Joe, we would never have a thought. Torture? What? And you see that word torture, tore her. Because, like Maria said, there's a special hatred of women, including by women, in the Golden Dawn Process Church, Scientology of today. And she wants people to know, she wants women to know, that hatred comes specifically from Aleister Crowley, that he required his men to show hatred for their wives in public, in a ceremony, to spit in their face or punch them or hurt them in some way violently. We don't like to go on about them. We just want you to know that if you don't hate the most awful people, the most awful conduct that you can ever imagine, harming animals, especially cats, and harming children, if you don't hate them, there's something morally wrong with you. Like someone has disconnected you from your heart, from your inner code of conduct. Or, and I would say that someone is probably your doctor with his synthetic fucking drugs. I mean, our people have to know you have to be 1,000,000% natural in a world of man-made synthetic shit to just take your money. They don't care. They don't care what is fucking in the food or what it is. They just want to make sure that they trick you into buying it. That's America. And most of the world, it's China, government, and I should say it's American government, but the American people are prevailing in reflecting its retarded Phantom of the Opera government. This monster that hides behind a makeup face and a computer with the mortgages and loans that control the country. That's what it is. Everyone knows. If I took a poll at work and say, what do you think really runs the country? Do you guys think money really runs the country? I would think 99% of the, and I say this out of honesty of my heart, that 99% of the people would say, yeah, you're right. And then if I tried to break it down to like, why are you a Republican or a Democrat? Why do you take sides and hate the other side? They would have a list of fucking reasons from Fox News or MSNBC or whatever. Leaving the baseline of we know that it's money that is the poison that, draws the politicians in. And they are just, I just want to say, all my, negative energy towards America and hatred of America isn't for especially the average old school Democrat, is probably, and I say this by experience and truthfully, some of the nicest people you'll ever fucking meet. Some of the biggest hearted people that, they're lost in their own naive mind, not conceiving that anyone could be so complex about harming other people, so sophisticated in torture. It's just a shame. It's just a shame that these people cannot question authority. They cannot question the story that they have been told about the Bible, about America, about World War II. They can't do it. And yet, if you were broke down on the side of the road, they would stop and do anything for you. They feel for hurting people. It's real. They're victims, that's my experience is it's very unfortunate, but the working middle class in America are victims of mind control and magic of words and numbers, but mostly the magic of using the repeating the repetitive fact of the simulation in correlation with your unconscious, which being a magician is about remembering, recovering, and retaining. They know if you paid to come here, they already have a 90% accurate profile of what kind of person you are. They have every data point and logical conclusion without any delusion or opinion whatsoever. These people are absolutely 100% fact-based. They're not taking any chances on democracy, motherfucker. And you gotta be crazy if you understood that money makes you the monkey. Then you'll understand that, King Kong is laughing at you. King Kong's laughing at you saying, you just will never figure out that the technology is so good, you'll never figure out you're in it. But when you move out on other levels and you really mean to protect people and wage war against evil, you start to see, hold it. Some of what they are presenting is fact, but the people that they're controlling, a lot of them aren't here, aren't plugged into the matrix. And that's why they're so easily led like sheep. And that's why Maria Orsic, I will tell this story soon, but on a month before the lockdown, she said to me, Joe, I know you're not going to like this. She said, but I know you love the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. And I was like, yeah, I do. The rights of man. I love that The forefathers of America stood up in front of the whole world. They said, hey, check this out. We're creating a government where the individual person is sovereign over the government. The government can't search that person, cannot accuse that person without witnesses, can't do anything, because government only exists as far as the people who represent in the phantom, who fill the phantom, right? They were like, we're giving you free speech. You can say anything. You know, they even ruled you can yell fire in a theater. You know why? You're free. You're free to be fucking nuts. You're free to shoot up. You're free to fucking hang yourself. You're free to fucking do anything but use force or fraud against each other. Why? Because that's morally wrong. And if you don't agree with that, you can't live here. You can't live with us. If you believe in cheating people, if you believe that it's dog eat dog and that you must get yours, then you can never, ever, ever, like Madonna says, we're done. We're hanging up on you forever, forever, outside of our energy field, outside of our real space, outside of our community. And like she said, when we travel outside of our community, back home on Venus, we marvel at the people. And she said, bottom line, how boring they are. That they just don't care. They don't care that life could be interesting. They don't think so. They don't, I mean, honestly, you know, and I know that we've been repeating this point over and over, but, I mean, what are we saying? There are honest differences between individual people, and they break down into like a caste system, you know. And once you don't have to have a occupation because you need food, clothes, and shelter, then everything starts to break down to what do you actually want? What do you actually really enjoy? And a lot of people honestly say sex. And the gods are like, of course. I mean, that's nature. You're even 5 million years later, your cells are saying multiply, right? Your cells are saying be fruitful and multiply. We get it. Here you go. Here's a simulation. We can't find anybody in real life that wants to do this with you in real life, but we have provided projections of DNA that aren't actual real people, but they seem real, and go fuck away. Go do everything you ever wanted to do. And they're like, how long? As long as you want. What about tomorrow? Come back. Never leave. You don't have to eat. You don't have to drink. You don't have to go to work. You can if you want. People have jobs on Venus, and they make money. But it's not the same. None of it's the same. Like, the more money you make, and the more stuff you have on Venus, you only have that money and that stuff within your community. You don't have it outside. You can't take your caste's money into another caste, another state. It's like the 50 states of America, each one having their own money, right? And it's completely outlawed. Energetically, your money don't even work in other states. Why? It's not real. It's all simulated. And you just have whatever you want to live in. Some people, there are people who love community, and they want to live in a building with lots of like apartments. It's like a big dorm to them and an endless party, and they love it. And like Maria said, we'd kill ourselves because we'd be thinking we're 100 different people. We'd be absorbing energies from everywhere and never knowing, who the fuck am I? What am I? I like this today, that tomorrow. I want this dick today, that dick tomorrow. And I'll explain to you why Queen Donna someday, told Maria, Orsic, and Sigrun when Maria was 14 years old that they must never, ever, ever, ever have any boyfriends. No dick allowed whatsoever. They must vow to it. They must swear to it. They must never, ever let their desire for it change their vibration or change the goal and the mission. And like Maria said, Donna promised us, after the mission's over, you'll have all the dick you want. And I got it. I understood it. I mean, some people don't really remember what it was like to be 15, 16 years old. It sure would have been nice to have someone who was honest and wise, truly spiritual, to teach you, give you some advice, And that's what America has always been lacking. America, since World War II, is the most materialistic society ever. It's the anti-vril society, It's the anti-vril society. And at the same time, I know the victimhood. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And as it is, let's give thanks and praise to the one and only morning star who is. He is the place. His presence, his words, his personality is the place that there is no place like Om. And like he said, Om for Mo backwards. Because we need Mo, Om, right? And Missouri is abbreviations are MO because it's Mo, Om for the Mo River, right? It brings Om through the land because Missouri is Miss Mother, the Virgin Mother. Missouri means Virgin Mother. Why don't we dwell on that for a minute, right? Saint Lucifer in the Virgin Mother, literally. And she would say, "Don't I wish?" They're the best people. They're the funnest people. They get the joke. They are the joke. Maria, definitely. I said to her before I knew she was Maria, "You're so funny. You could be a stand-up comedian." And she said to me, "How you know I'm not?" I said, "What, a goddess can be a comedian?" She said, "I'm testing my jokes on you." Yeah, and she saved my life because I was very hurt and confused. And I can see her saying, because I was reflecting your true self back to you. That's the highest work. Who agrees? Should we agree? Maria, the scorpion, holding her premise in her tight grip, her scorpion claws, right? The tight premise. And one of those premises was that Donna and Lou had became her parents, right? And as she said to me, "You mean your grandparents?" And Donna loves to call me grandson. And we'll continue very soon in the beautiful artistic vibration of the life of Maria Orsic, who she is and her personality. As she said, the pussy-eating witch, but in her own words, the traditional European witch, the traditional Austrian witch. In what tradition? The Vril tradition. And what tradition is that? The tradition that gets it done. The tradition that figures it out at any cost, by any means necessary. And I'm going to get back to why. Why obey someone on another plane telling you basically how to live, right? Our whole individualism is we decide, we decide, we decide. Well, you come to the point in life where you're like, I can't fucking see what it is that's holding me back, that's bothering me, that's something's wrong. What is that? Something that is wrong, right? And the true self created this moment, created this path to this crisis and cry-isis. You know, when you cry out to Mother, you cry out to Isis if you knew what you were really doing. And she comes and she holds up what? A magic mirror. And you say, mirror, mirror on the wall. And if you're worried about who's fucking most beautiful, then fuck you. Like, you're not going nowhere. No, you say, mirror, mirror on the wall. I'm gonna fucking die if I can't figure out who I am and my fucking purpose for suffering. This is the crisis. And you and I together this is how we came together. This is how we got before Mother Mary. Mary Isis, right? Mary Mississippi. Mississippi. Mary M. Mississippi. Missouri Hippie. Missouri the hippie. And hail to you that we did cry. Isis. True self. You have to one day come full circle and say, you know what, true self, it fucking sucked to be sick. It fucking sucked to be in low vibration. It sucked to be used by people and not have any recourse or way to do anything about it. It all sucked, but it worked perfect. All things work together for good for those who love Jah, Almighty, Alleluia, Lucifer. And they're like, you talking about God? No, I'm not. I'm talking about the God who's imagining this reality with technology helping him, but all the same. And that God, he has ordained everything, every thought, every millionth of a millisecond, and big beLou, blue, St. Louis Blues, beLou, blessing to you, my brothers and sisters. I truly love you. Talk soon.
Underneath the moon sky, feel the vibe. Island breezes whisper low like a live tribe. Nana dance through the night, heart so free. With every swaying step, she's a melody. Roots in the sun, the only guide. But Nana guide us home. Through waters wild, to love we roam. River of amor, flowing through our veins. True self reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains. Our souls intertwined, dancing in refrains. In the sun, time we never lost, just found. Echoes of laughter, we move through that sound. Colors of the sunset paint the ocean deep with not a spirit river, wait, never speed. Unity we rise, no need to hide. The river speaks, it knows our name. Through every wave, we're called to reclaim. River of Amor flowing through our veins, true self-reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains, our souls intertwined, dancing in refrains. River of Amor flowing through our veins, true self-reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains, our souls intertwined, dancing in refrain. Sunflower seeds up and you shine forever bright. In the rhythm of love we ignite.